Again to this level of competition.
The winner of this matchup will head straight to the final next weekend in Edmonton at Commonwealth Stadium, where they'll take on the New Zealand Maori. And there's a look at Hugh Vivian, the captain of the English side.
Oh, he's a fantastic player. I'm sure delighted to be back in Canada, captain of England again at the Churchill Cup. He wants to put his marker down to show Clive Woodward he should be in the senior squad as well.
And here's a look at the Canadians as they come out to a great round of applause and an appreciative crowd here at Calgary Rugby Park.
Oh, it's great to have these guys back home on home soil. We have a shot in the screen there of Marco Di Girolamo running out. He'll be leading from the front in the centers for Canada.
These teams met last year in pool play in the Churchill Cup, and the English came away with a 43-7 victory, so Canada would love to avenge that and get a shot at the Maori in the final.
Yeah, disappointing result last year. New regime. We have Rick Suggett at the helm now, so the guys will be looking down to make a statement.
There's Mark Guedo, who played in the Churchill Cup last year and plays for the Sail Sharks.
Exciting player on the right wing for England.
Before we kick things off, we will get the national anthems of both England and Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthems of England and Canada, the song by Jolene Rio.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen, send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free, from far and wide. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, you get a shot of the blue skies here at Calgary Rugby Park, but just before the game we had some rain, and the wind is also blowing across the field this afternoon, Spencer.
There shouldn't be an advantage to either team with the wind blowing across the field. Fantastic. You don't want it blowing down the either way, one way or the other.
There's a look at the officials and the referee and the touch judge, Kiwis.
The referees have been fantastic this tournament. Very consistent, very clear in their instruction, and they're really letting the game go. So I'm excited about the prospects this afternoon.
And if you're new to rugby, the referees have microphones on. We'll be able to listen to the conversations. Canada in red and black. England in white with a red trim. And we are set to go, as we mentioned, the first time Canada back on home soil after playing in the World Cup.
Advantage white.
And right away, Andy Hazel of England grabs the ball and starts moving forward.
It's a great start with a kickoff from Stirling. Richmond making his first test appearance for Canada.
This is a young Canadian side. A lot of changes from the last time we saw this team at the Churchill Cup, but they went over and played in the Superpowers Cup and got all the way to the final, where they lost to Japan.
It's one of those things you always try to match. If you don't have experience, then what you'll have on the flip side is youth and enthusiasm. That's what Canada's got today.
Keys to shutting down the English side.
Just as we listen to the referee there.
Go. Get over, please. Thank you.
He's putting his
direct right away.
Here.
Yeah, let's talk about shutting down this English side that scored 43 points the last time these teams met.
Well, you've got to be organized as one, and then you've got to be committed. There's got to be in a position to make a tackle, and then you've got to have the courage to make that tackle.
Come back.
Right now, the English inside the 22-meter line. There's Jamie Noon, and he's brought down hard.
Penalty, holding on. Must release, can't wait for your mates. Go 10.
It's a great start for Canada right there. We just talked about that, Kevin. England coming at them inside the red zone, and Marco Di Girolamo right on the money there, putting his man on the deck.
A chance for Canada to clear the zone.
Yeah, good kick by that's Mike Danskin, commonly known as Disco to his mates, clearing the lines for Canada there.
One cap to his credit. And we have seen the importance of the kicking game. We saw it in the Maori in the U.S. game when the U.S. was not able to get their kicking game going.
Marco taking it up again in the middle of the field for the Canadians.
Trying to put something together there, but the ball comes loose. Manage England.
Release it.
England with possession now. And
That
Alex
was a
King.
crossover. There's no advantage back here.
A little bit of hesitation.
Little hesitation from Alex Ting there, and then so his man went in front of him, the referee saying crossover, but he's going to go back to the Canadian knock-on and give England the scrum to the put-in.
This has not been a great weekend for English teams around the world. They got thumped in New Zealand in rugby, 36-3, and then a heartbreaking loss in Euro 2004 to France. 2 goals scored by the French in injury time. So this English team trying to make amends for that. Canada trying to get themselves into the final for the first time at the Churchill Cup.
Yeah, it hasn't been a good last 48 hours for English sport, and these guys here will be trying to get the scales balanced a little bit more.
13 players from last year's Churchill Cup championship team return, including Hugh Vivian, the captain, who has the ball right now.
England just trying to penetrate around the fringes of the ruck, collapse the Canadian defense.
We've got 3 minutes gone here. Territorial advantage to the English so far as that kick heading for Dan Scarborough, but he goes into touch before he can get hold of it.
Yeah, that's a tactic that's been used with England all through, probably over the last 4 years, which is the outside winger, the open side winger lying flat and wide, and then the high kick to him, trying to win the ball in the air. They've got big players, and that's what they want to do.
Here's Morgan Williams now. Aaron Abrams. Colin Yukes. Canada making a run now. Danskin swings it out wide. Ryan Smith. Great chance for Quentin Fyffe on the outside. David Moonlight.
Great attacking play from the Canadians there, really taking it to the English side here, not sitting back and letting the game come to them. They're taking it to the English.
Tackles down, guys.
Great spreading of the ball there. It's a long pass from Disco out to Quentin Fyffe, who was the star at the World Cup, and Stirling Richmond just trying to fend, slapped down by his opposite number there.
Quentin Fyffe had a try against Italy in the World Cup. Got a timeout. One of the English players down on one knee. And it's Matt Cairns. Cairns played in the Churchill Cup last year. Plays for Saracens, or the Sale Sharks. He's going to be going to Saracens next year.
Yeah, making the move. He's got a striking resemblance to the hooker from the English squad last year, Greenwood, I believe.
Okay, time on.
Compact player, 257 pounds. And another English player on the deck.
Well, that's a good sign for the Canadians that we're still on our feet, and the English are the ones that are kind of licking their wounds right now.
As I mentioned, Canada going to the Superpowers Cup. They defeated the United States in that game 23-20 and got into the final against Japan. So they come in with a little bit of confidence and lost to Japan 34-21.
Yeah, disappointing result in the finals, but I think for a new team, as we mentioned off the top, a new regime here with Coach Rick Suggett, that's encouraging. They're 1-1, and this is their first game on home soil.
Hold.
Line out one by England.
Stay.
4.5 minutes gone here in the first half. English clearing it out of danger. The Canadians now with a chance to remount an attack.
Roll off right.
Again, that's a fairly direct route from the Canadians, which is great.
Advantage offside, midfield.
Working off, you heard the referee saying advantage ball, so the Canadians have got to go with it.
Danskin swinging out wide. The run on, and that, goes into touch.
Educated kick there from Quentin Fyffe.
About 3 years in the senior field.
Good work by the Canadians. They've really pinned the English side in their own half here. We still watch the pass from Danskin onto Quentin Fyffe, and he pushes it through for Ryan Smith to chase onto.
Matt Cairns, who was shaken up a little bit earlier on, will throw in. He's got the ball now. A lot of motivation for this English side after what happened to the big team down in New Zealand. There could be some spots. And Jim Mallender said that before the game, that the job of this team in terms of getting motivated is to make the big club take them.
Yeah, that's right. All these guys, where they would prefer to be down in New Zealand with the full English side, and this is their opportunity to stake their claims to those positions.
White.
Aaron Abrams
Step.
on the line in.
Step, please, Will. Let's go. Thank you.
He's got it now. Morgan Williams, Danskin. Williams throws it out wide. Richmond.
Advantage white.
Very good pattern play by the Canadians. Unfortunately, Morgan Williams a little bit excited. Knock on off of that ruck.
How important is it for the Canadians to keep that momentum, to keep the English off the board here in the first half? Is that, do you think that'll perhaps rattle them a little bit?
Definitely, you always want to keep your foot on the pedal against a side like England. You don't want to give them a chance or a feeling mentally or physically that you're just waiting for them to come to you.
Martin Wood had a little trouble with the footing. We talked about the rain earlier on. The sun is shining now. Burak on the far side.
Got him all!
You hear the referee indicate we've got a maul there, so the Canadians will try to hold this ball up in the air so that possibly they can get a turnover from it.
Let it go!
Didn't happen. England come to the near side. Trying to get their running game going, and they do. Nice tackle there.
He's fine, he's a tackler. Stay here.
Danskin. Oh, another big hit as the Canadians playing the physical game that they're well known for. With Garth Cooke in there on the hit. Hazel. Now here's Cueto. Cueto with a run, a chance for the English, and they'll get it in. Mike Horak with the try, and the English are on the board first.
Great try by the English. They really worked that phase play very well. The Canadians' defense was probably very organized for the first 3 phases of that defensive sequence, but just at the end they got a little bit unstructured. You see Kevin Tkachuk, the captain, having to pinch in on the winger. That's a mismatch. Out to the fullback, and he's in the right corner.
Cueto with a nice pass to Horak. And England strikes first around the 8-minute mark of this first half.
Yeah, again, the English were just able to have that ball, keep the continuity for that 7 phases, and push the Canadians into from a structured position into a little bit of chaos where a prop like Kevin was out defending a winger, and they created that try-scoring opportunity.
Horak scored 4 tries against the U.S. in a pool game in the Churchill Cup. Plays for London Irish. Convert. And that is short. So the English are on top by the score of 5-0 on a try by Mike Horak.
Yeah, here you watch the Canadians. There's already a big gap in the field there, and you've got a couple front row players out there. They take the ball on. Alex King moves it out to Cueto, who collapses the defense, and then out to Horak to get in the corner.
Alex King unsuccessful with the convert attempt. So we'll see how the Canadians respond here. A couple of good forays into English territory.
Watch the height on that kickoff from Stirling Richmond.
And it just rolls into touch.
Yeah,
as we go downstairs and join our Gene Principe. Gene.
Well, guys, Mike Horak proving he's committed to rugby, but also committed to his family. He arrived about 3 or 4 days after the rest of the English squad as he went back to South Africa for the christening of his son. So once that was taken care of, hopped on a plane, headed to London, and then came to Calgary. And obviously the delay in getting here hasn't affected his game to this point in this match.
Good frequent flyer miles for Mike Horak.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, that's one indication also of what Clive Woodward, the England coach, has put into their structure, which are the critical non-essentials. Giving players the time to do things just like that. Put their family first. It translates to this kind of performance on the field.
No, you're too far apart. Come on.
10 minutes gone here in the first half.
Get closer, guys. Closer, please, before we engage. Scratch and hold. Engage. That's better.
Scrum Canada.
Play on. It's gone back.
Some good pressure on Josh Jackson at the back of that scrum by the English scrum half.
Canadians with possession. Here's Mike Danskin. Ball squirts loose. Cairns picks it up for England.
Hands off, Reed. Hands off.
England comes up with the turnover. We'll keep our eye on that as well. Now trying to string some phases together is Horak, the try scorer. He's knocked down. King swings it out wide. Here's the captain, Hugh Vivian, with some space, looking around for somebody to pass it to, and finally does find his man, and that's Mark Cueto, and he's got a lane. Here's Cueto with the try. Well, you knew Mark Cueto was the guy to take it because Hugh Vivian was looking around immediately for somebody to pass to.
Yeah, Hughes shot through the gap there and thought, well, it's a long way to the try line. I better find someone with much more gas than I do. The important thing there for the Canadian defense is that huge gap in the middle as he looks outside, and there's the winger doing the winger's job, finishing off the attack there.
Second try for England, and Alex King will try to add the converts, and he is straight on.
Is it all right or not?
Cueto in.
Nada?
And he had plays for Sale Sharks, 64 games plays. He scored 40 tries, so he's not unfamiliar with the end zone.
That's a very good strike rate for a winger.
Convert is good. "12 minutes gone here in the first half, and the English have come up with 2 tries. There is Mark Cueto. Rick Suggett there, the Canadian coach. He'll be looking for his guys. They've done fairly well in terms of getting the ball into the England half of the field, but unfortunately turnovers have resulted in giving English possession, and then they just march back 60, 70 meters to score tries. Rick Suggett was here at the Churchill Cup in the final last year, coaching the women.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience at this tournament as well. And a lot of experience with these guys, as we mentioned off the top. A lot of these guys come out of the sevens program. That man right there, Marco Di Girolamo.
There's a chance picked up there by Mike Horak. Trouble for the English. Canada with a chance.
It's over. Take him back. 5 meter.
Close call for the English.
Great pressure then by Marco Di Girolamo.
Yeah.
Good tackle first off from the kickoff, and then the pressure comes through. Marco kicks ahead and is chased up by Ryan Smith.
Hold it, White.
Now what the Canadians need to do is turn this pressure into points.
White.
He with the opportunity to try and capitalize. See if they can do it here.
Scratch and hold.
The huge blind side, what they call the short side of the field on the right. We'll see if they go that way.
Here's a chance. Williams, and a turnover.
Down.
Canada though with possession. Here's a chance. Morgan Williams.
No, you went.
Close.
Still trying advantage.
Trying to get it down.
Canadians still with the ball.
You can see it coming loose. Another attempt to get across the line.
Lines it, guys.
Close, but no cigar for the Canadians.
Interesting decision here for the referee. Watch this England player here. It's Henry Paul. He slaps that ball down. Some referees might call that intentional. That could be a yellow card play where he's to the bin.
Now a line out.
Yeah.
But a great opportunity for Canada.
Step it over, guys. Half a meter on that white line.
Yeah, they've had a scrum within 5 meters and now a line out.
It's okay.
Cairns in there digging for the ball for England. Does come loose. Danskin.
Hands off!
Solid defense from the English.
Advantage.
Morgan Williams looking for the ball. He's got it now. Williams taken by the captain, Hugh
No
Vivian.
advantage. Hands in there, White.
Another tough decision for Captain Tkachuk here. He's had 2 kicks to the cat inside the 22. Maybe he'll just say, well, let's kick 3 points and get out of here.
Good position for the kick and take the points when you can get them.
That's exactly right. Now, that's a good decision for Kevin to make at this stage of the game. We want to keep showing the English that we can amass some points on the scoreboard as well.
So Mike Danskin with a chance to get Canada on the board. 7 points the last time they played England in the Churchill Cup. Danskin puts it through, so 3 points on the board for Canada.
Great kick by Mike, a little confidence booster. Mike, of course, a graduate of St. Michael's University School, a bit of a kicking factory. You've produced some of the greatest kickers in Canadian rugby. Garth, Reese, John Graff, Bobby Ross, and now Mike Danskin.
As his team on the board, they trail 12-3. Alex King, who has a convert. He's 1 for 2 so far today. We'll start things off.
You see the ball didn't travel 10 meters there. So now the Canadians smart. They didn't play the ball. If they did, then it would have been live. They say, no, we'll go and have scrum at center field, our put in, and that's an advantage.
16th minute. Canada closes the gap.
Okay, no half of you, just wait.
Scrum in the middle of the field obviously gives the Canadians 2 options. They can go right or left. They've brought Quentin Fyffe up on the right, and I think he'll get the ball.
They're going to come near side. Richmond brought down by
Release it!
Scarborough.
High most now, White. High most. Scrum it, guys. It's locked in there.
Good play by the Canadians there, keeping the ball again the continuity. So now they've held on to the ball really for the last 5 minutes, including that penalty.
Part of the ball on the line.
And that's going to be a good confidence builder for them.
Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. Where are we? Who's down, guys?
Well, the referee looking for someone who was injured, and why the delay?
Okay,
ready to
cracks
go.
And hold it. Engage.
Good pressure from the English scrum on the Canadians.
Forward, guys. Lost forward here.
Knock forward.
Fortunately, a knock forward there. Canada's only turned the ball over 3 times in the match so far.
Okay, scratch and hold. Engage. Get it up here.
Swung out wide. Ball's line to go.
Roll out, Red.
It was a strong run from the English winger there.
Roll off, Red.
Seeing some of the numbers coming off the English players' back, literally being ripped off their back. There's 3 players without numbers out there.
We'll watch for the gaps in the middle of the field here. Not this time.
Moonlight, a little extracurricular after.
There's a long ball again. This man, Henry Paul here, he's thrown a few long balls today. That one really didn't go to hand. He's another sevens player, and he meets David Moonlight. They know each other from the 7-a-side circuit.
The number hanging down.
Just crouch and hold. No. Guys, just slow it down, okay? You're trying to beat the other team. Don't worry about it, okay? Just crouch and hold it only.
Good talk from the referee there, understanding the mechanics of the scrum and the eagerness of the players and not penalizing them for going too early there.
Advantage. 3-1.
He heard the free one. Here's a chance now. Quickly moving ahead. Quentin Fyffe drops it off. Girolamo with a chance. Canada will score. Stirling, Richmond.
What a try, what a try. You see the importance of a turnover ball that time. The England scrum half, Martin Wood, went offside at the scrum, and Canada took that advantage given by the referee and spun the ball out wide. The Sevens guys really got in the concert here. That's Disco out to Quentin Fyffe. He splits the English defense, looks inside for Marco Di Girolamo, and he looks to his buddy Stirling on the left wing, and he's over for 5 points for Canada.
Huge try for the Canadians, and we talked about it off the top. The guys with the Sevens experience coming through.
Well, the vision is just there by all those guys, right from Danskin on to Quentin Fyffe, inside to Di Girolamo, and then Stirling following up the play. Just great work, great work.
Chance to add a convert for Mike Danskin and close the gap to 2 points.
Yeah.
Wind blowing across the field. Look up, and that didn't miss by much. Oh, 12-8 the score.
That is a great response to the pressure that the Canadians have been under. That try, basically out of almost out of nowhere, splitting the defense. Stirling, Richmond, well, great work by the guys.
So 12-8 the score. As we saw with the Maori and the U.S., the U.S. hung around in that first half, and Canada responding to 2 tries by the English side and have got themselves right in this game.
Well, it's important that try came from first phase possession, which shows that their running lines are correct and they've got some creativity in their own offense, and they can do that to the English.
Now some problems for Canada. England trying to respond to that try by the Canadians.
Important cover tackle from Mike Langley off the scrum there. Martin Wood almost got away from him.
Alex King brought down. Good tackle there by Aaron Abrams.
Hands off now.
Canada under some pressure. Matt Cairns picks it up. Cueto. Spun around. There's a try for England. They come right back and get 5 points.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Canadians, at ruck time, the referee was playing an advantage for offside. But the English player at the base of the ruck, whenever he picks the ball up, he always gets that extra yard, and that gives the space for the back line. That's Henry Paul again with the long pass out to the left this time. And some missed tackles over for England.
And we're not quite sure who scored. As you can see, the numbers have come loose for several of the English players. Yeah, that looks like everybody's wearing number 1 out there.
That looks like Dan Scarborough, the player from the Saracens club. He was out here last year with the squad.
Jamie Noon is the player we are told who got that try. Had the 3 ripped off.
Just watch the kicking style of Alex King here. See if it mirrors Johnny Wilkinson.
Oh, he didn't miss by much.
There he is, Jamie Noon. Another 7-a-side player. He was with the English squad when they won the Hong Kong Sevens in 2002.
5 caps to his credit. 17-8 the score.
Canadians can't let that rattle them. They've got to go back to where they were 10 minutes ago.
England with possession.
Got him all now. Drop it now, Red. Go, Red. Go back, Red.
Some solid possession from the English there.
Still driving ahead.
Push back over there. Push back.
Almost at center. Now they'll try the far side and breaking loose. Fyffe trying to get a tackle, couldn't do it. And again, English with pressure.
Advantage. Yes.
Swung all the way
off
out.
Advantage again. And there goes Henry Paul with that long looping pass.
Burak trying to find some room. He is brought down. Tackle there by David Moonlight.
Advantage back here.
Referee going back to a Canadian offside in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Almost. Told it, we got a flagging.
Referees mentioned also that the touch judges noticed that there's a flagging, what he's called it, for foul play. Let's have a listen.
14 red. Yeah, it was probably more reaction, mate. That's cool. Sorry. Let's keep it in. Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Had a little word with Stirling Richmond there, little reaction, some foul play. So the referee, again, feeling at the players and knowing that they're pretty passionate, so no need to give them a yellow card or anything. So yeah, watch it. Interesting decision by the English here. They're going for the scrum, not the guaranteed 3 points. Kick in front of the post. They're going to go for maybe 5 points, possibly 7, with a converted try.
17-8 their lead right now.
Penalty over here, you're breaking too soon, 6.
English, quick restart. Worsley trying to bull his way in. Knocking on the door. Here's the captain, Vivian.
Release it!
Canadian defense, so far so good. Ball comes loose, kicked out.
Good escape by the Canadians.
Bend but don't break mentality with Canada right now.
Bend but don't break, which is fantastic.
6 red.
Just able to push that ball out of bounds. Morgan Williams, a veteran campaigner.
Make sure you stay bound, 6 red.
Snuff out the attack of the English.
Hold it here.
Line out for England. Here,
It's
Vivian.
over!
England inside the 5-meter line.
Hold it on.
The English player isolated there, which is very good work by the Canadians to get in on there and show the referee that, yes, we'd like this ball. We're on our feet. His support's not there, so you must penalize him. That's exactly what happened. Marco Di Girolamo in there saying, yeah. And the referee had no choice but to penalize the English player for not releasing on the ground.
So the Canadians dodge some trouble, and Danskin with the boot and shanked that one.
I see what you mean about that wind blowing across the field, because that's exactly where the ball went. But as there is in penalty kicks in rugby, Canada still has possession, so they will throw into this line out.
Abrams doing the honors.
White, come on. Step, please.
Referee a couple of times having to talk to the English about their lineouts.
Yeah, they're crouching on the space, and the line is supposed to be a 1 meter gap between the two teams. And they're trying to bring that down to half a meter.
Trying to find some room. Sean O'Leary driving forward. Now a chance. Danskin.
Okay, you're right.
Come right to Dan Scarborough. Scarborough with some space. Now he's brought down smartly by Chris Strubin.
Great poaching work on the ground by the Canadians there. Good turnover by David Moonlight.
Canadians with possession, starting to try and put something together here. Fyffe keep the ball alive. It gets knocked loose. Now they swing it out wide. Richmond, he has the try for Canada.
Hands off! What tackler?
Well, a good job for Canada. They were pinned deep in their own zone, and now the ball out at center field.
Well, the attitude from the Canadians so far today has been encouraging. They are down, and yes, they are running out of their 22 still. So they're, again, maintaining that pressure on the English and the continuity there. The handling skills are there. You've seen the turnover ball lessened. Not as many knock-ons, so hopefully that'll give them a little boost as this half goes on.
Let's go downstairs and join our Gene Principe. Gene.
Well, guys, I just made my way back from the English bench, and they're as surprised as anyone that the numbers on their jersey are continually coming off. The jerseys are made of cotton. They're pressed on through heat, and they're not sure exactly why this is happening, but they say they have no decision in regards to changing them. So best of luck, guys. It may be a long end of the first half and second half.
Everybody's either 0 or 1 right now. The iron wasn't hot enough when they put them on.
I think that's just it. The referee getting involved in the play there. He should have taken that pass.
Oops.
Watch the referee here. Morgan Williams moving the ball out. You see something in the corner of his eye. Unfortunately, he's got a green jersey on.
Just hold up, White, please.
Scrum Canada.
No halfback yet.
17-8 the score.
It's interesting, Gene mentioned that jersey numbers coming off, and the English have no intentions of changing the jerseys at halftime. That's one of the critical non-essentials that I talked about earlier with Clive Woodward and the full England squad. Just as allowing guys to have family time, the full England squad will get clean strip at halftime every game, because it makes a difference to them mentally. One of the tiny things that he thinks makes a difference.
Somebody should turn the iron on now. Get it warmed up, get those numbers pressed on.
Hands up!
Canada pressing. Morgan swings it out to Danskin.
Release it! Leave it White! Leave it White! No, stay here, high most.
Cairns takes a hit from Colin Yukes.
That's a great clean out from Yukesy.
Can't miss him. The big guy, 6'7", 254 pounds.
Give me half.
And he's using that weight to good effect today.
Play on, it's gone back.
Canada with possession. Langley. It's a little kick ahead by Moonlight. And it was taken before anything could amount to it. And a little more conversation.
Hey.
Good work by the Canadians. Watch Josh in there. Great basketball player from Shawnigan Lake School. Bobbles the ball, gets it out to Marco. The long pass to Quentin. He does another long one out. That's Mike Langley from the 7 squad as well, out to Mooner. And he does a chip over top before he has a little tete-a-tete with his opposite here.
Hands up!
England start to run on the far side.
Good tackle by Marco on his opposite, Henry Paul.
Ball mishandled, came loose. Boedo had a tough ball to handle.
Canada lucky there. The English actually really an unforced error. I think what the Canadians need to do is you watch the defense off the left side of this ruck. They need to come forward and put that pressure on the English there. Drop ball right at the feet of the English fly half, Alex King. Should have a Canadian pouncing on that ball right away. So they're organized, but they still need to keep coming forward in the phase play.
Use it now. It's down. Yeah, I thought we were going to use it straight away.
Scrum's a bit of a problem today. We had a lot of scrums go down, but the referee's being fairly patient. The rain before the game, I'm sure, has made the conditions a bit slippery as we see him move to a different part of the field to allow the players to have proper grip so they can scrum effectively.
Beautiful turf here at Calgary Rugby Park. And as Spencer mentioned, it was raining pretty hard for most of the afternoon before the game. There's a mishandled ball by Canada this time.
Loose pass, turnover ball.
Big tackle there.
Hands up!
Josh Jackson.
Yeah, Josh was one of our standouts in the World Cup, particularly for his aerial game, the work he did in the lineouts. Some questions still to be asked of his defense, and I'm sure the English will be asking them today.
6'6", 247. Now again, the English with an opportunity. Colin Yukes was right there. Broke that up, but we're seeing more English players down. 2 of them down now.
The hard hits of the Canadians. Watch the pass out of the tackle, though. Morgan Williams making the tackle, just freeing that hand up to keep that continuity in the game. That's such a feature of the English game, as well as the Maori we saw as well yesterday.
Again, a stoppage caused by injuries to the English players, and a few of them bent over.
Well, that's what they want to see, the Canadians anyway. They'll want to see that they're having an effect, if not on the scoreboard, on the bodies. You got to remember, rugby is an 80-minute game, so sometimes the hits you make in the first 20 minutes don't pay off until the last 20 minutes. So you've got to keep that mentality up, keep coming at your opposition, and then hopefully it'll open up some seams later on in the game.
Jim Mallender, the English coach, looking on, a little bit concerned, not so much on the scoreboard, but perhaps the bodies. Hugh Vivian, pass intercepted.
Play on, guys, advantage. That's forward by Reed.
Referee playing an advantage on the Canadian knock forward.
England threatening again. Here's a chance, and another try.
Got it on the roll. Hey, got it on the roll, mate. Second time.
Another try for the English there. That's Jamie Noon, I believe, coming inside off his center partner, Henry Paul, who, to start the movement, had a beautiful step off his left foot, and then the fend, again, freeing the ball up with that right hand, allow him to pass the ball onto his partner. Watch the step there, beats Marco, fends onto Disco, and then Jamie Noon comes on the inside line, and he's over on the roll here, as the referee says.
His second try of the afternoon. 22-8 now the score, with the convert attempt from Alex King, up and through.
Now the Canadians again need to get back in the English half and keep that continuity so they can build some phases up where they'll get an opportunity again for the English to commit penalties where they can take 3 points or maybe even a try as they did previously.
24-8 the score. The winner of this game moves on to the Churchill Cup final next weekend in Edmonton, and they will play the New Zealand Maori, who beat the United States 69-31.
Well, I tell you, I can't get over those kicks. They're just fantastic, just sitting right up there for the Canadian players to run onto.
As we mentioned, the wind coming right across the field.
Roll out, tackler, roll out.
Good direct route from Girolamo.
Danskin.
It's here, Rita got it.
Reform. Williams.
Leave it, you guys, get out of here.
Scrappy play from the Canadians. They weren't really organized to know what they were going to do, what plan B was.
Danskin, that ball squirts loose. And Ryan Smith will go back and pick it up for Canada. Big hit there, Dan Scarborough.
What's great about that was that Quentin Fyffe actually chose to run the ball.
Advantage white.
Danskin on the mishandle.
That's forward.
Knocked it forward.
Well, that's just an unfortunate error there from the Canadian fly half.
The moisture on the field, do you think it's playing a factor here, getting on the ball? And we've seen some mishandled balls here.
Well, definitely. I mean, the balls nowadays are made so to prevent that. But it looks definitely that some of the moisture, you're right, Kevin, is getting in onto the hands or onto the ball and producing some knock-ons.
Wood swings it out. Scarborough. Again, the English threatening. The ball comes loose.
Got him all.
Pack driving ahead. Just outside the 25-meter line. They'll come near side.
England putting some of their bigger players into the middle of the field that time.
Cairns.
Hands up!
Tough chance there for David Moonlight.
Play on, that's fine.
Canada comes up with the ball and avoids danger again. Clear, but not out. Here come the English one more time. Scarborough. He gets dropped. England carrying on again. Talk about loose play, the ball.
Loose play,
all over the play.
And just relentless attack from the English. They just will not give up. They're trying to find a way. And Mother Nature beats them here. The moisture on the ball. Play over.
Well, Canada has had to weather a couple of storms from the English as we close in at the end of this first half.
Yeah, some tired legs out there. Canada want to keep their focus. They'll want to remember, unfortunately, in the Maori game against the U.S. yesterday, where the Americans lost their focus for a brief period of time just before halftime and cost them 7 points.
Hold it, White.
Canada scrum. Trying to get it to Mike Danskin. He can get it out of danger. And you wonder if Mike would like some of those kicks back.
Well, I think Mike will just be happy that he's got that ball to hand and he's relieved some pressure for his team.
Cairns on the lineup for England.
Stay in the middle, Red.
24-8 the score. And England having a little trouble with their lineouts.
Yeah, the throw not straight by Matt Cairns gives Canada a chance to have a shot of possession here as we come close to the half.
Engage. Come on, guys. You're rushing today. Don't go down unless you sit. If you're not ready, just let me know. I'll hold it, please, okay? Just crouch and hold it only. No. See? Slow it. Slow it, guys. Engage.
Mike Danskin, the Canadian fly half's already taken a position to kick the ball directly behind the scrum.
Look at the spiral on that one.
Oh, that's a beautiful kick.
That's a way it'll cut through the wind.
Fantastic kick. That's more like it, Mike.
As we mentioned, the wind blowing across the field and a few raindrops starting to fall. A sun shower here at Calgary Rugby Park. Cairns ready to put it in for England.
Advantage red.
Yukes.
No advantage from the line out, guys. Wasn't straight.
Again, not straight. The wind a factor here.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the wind definitely, but this is one of the closed skills in rugby, throwing the ball and kicking it through the uprights. It's just you and the ball, really. So it's one of the things you want to make sure you have 100% correct.
Free kick. There you go.
Canada.
Not 10, advantage.
Morgan Williams. Taken down by the captain, Hugh Vivian. Danskin. Ryan Smith. Smith swings it out wide. Looking for Stirling Richmond.
Almost here. Push
Canada
back.
with a great chance here late in the half.
Strubin. Great time for Canada to get another score on the board.
Almost. Give me half a metre.
Now they'll come to the near side. Smith. Williams.
We're a little static right now, the Canadians. We saw that ball when Williams got it. Nothing really going on, no one really running onto it. But now they're trying to get some momentum going with the pick and drive. Good decision.
Drive it forward right up the middle.
Stay here, almost. Last man.
Danskin. Fyffe. For the big guy, Jackson. Bouncing ball picked up by Girolamo. He's got it in a lane up the middle, drives through.
Strong man, Marco Girolamo.
That pass is picked off, but the whistle goes.
Some adventure shown by the Canadians there. We knew we were working off of the advantage ball, so Morgan threw a risky pass as he knew he had the 3 points guaranteed at least. So we'll see what Captain Tkachuk does today. Now there he is throwing that pass. Oh, it's Mike Danskin actually. Interception, but they were offside.
Dying moments of this first half. And we'll see if Mike Danskin steps up. He already has one penalty, and he'll go for 2.
Another good decision by Captain Tkachuk.
As you say, Spencer, a sitter.
Well, you can tell I've never really kicked the ball in rugby games, or kicking for points. Easy for me to say.
Right at the end of the half, Mike Danskin gets his second penalty, and Canada closes the gap, 24-11. At the break, we've got much more coming from Calgary Rugby Park, England, Canada, Churchill Cup 2004. We'll be right back.
Hello, welcome back here to Calgary Rugby Park with day 2 of Churchill Cup action. I've got here Morgan Williams, scrum half for the Canadian team, is trailing at the half to England. Morgan, firstly, good to see you back on Canadian soil in a red jersey. How does it feel out there?
I think at the minute it's a bit frantic. We just need to kind of compose ourselves just try and win the easy battles. Right now we're just kind of throwing the ball away. We just need to keep it tight. And I mean, there's holes out there. We just need to, hang on to the ball and find them. So
great to see the backs moving the ball around. Some of the sevens guys getting their feet up, and some great runs out there.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're just trying to get the ball to the backs, just trying to recycle that ball back quick, which is, I think they're slowing us down. They're doing it well. So we just need to try and get it out to the wingers because they've got pace, and hopefully they're going to show us what they can do. So. On
the defensive side, a couple of soft tries from the English, something you're going to look at halftime?
Yeah, I think, just a couple pinches, some guys missing assignments is, pretty much that's all that's really in it right now. So hopefully we're gonna fix that at half and come out in the second half with a better performance.
All right, well, good to see the new side out there, new captain, everything going well with Kevin and the young boys firing.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a new group. It's a bit of a change for me, but I'm excited for this game and for the next week and for the France game. So.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Morgan. We'll be back here after the break from Calgary Rugby Park. England are on top of Canada at the moment. We'll see if Morgan and his teammates can get the job done and come back after the break.
Welcome back to Calgary Rugby Park. We're almost set for second half action. You see the damage done in the first half between Canada and England. The Canadians with 11 points. They were able to get one try, and we bring in Garth Reese, and at that point in time it looked like Canada was maybe going to make a bit of a run and close the gap.
Yeah, a nervous side, but good to see that Canada get in behind him. Here's Quentin Fyffe taking the short ball. Marco Di Girolamo popping up on the outside. The cover was there from the English players, but he was able to get it to Stirling Richmond for a great open field try. Good to see Canada getting in behind and showing they can score tries against this England team.
And the Danskin penalty kick late in the half makes a difference. Only 13 guys going into the final 40 minutes.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, gentlemen. Moments away from the start of the second half. And Spencer, we talked about it off the top of the show, the impact that the sevens players could have. We saw it there, using their speed. Is that going to be the strategy in the second half?
The speed and also the discipline and the vision. On that try that the Canadians scored there, Stirling Richmond. The great line by Quentin Fyffe is one thing, the support by Marco Di Girolamo, but then the patience to suck in the English defense before passing the ball wide to Stirling Richmond to get over in the left corner. Huge, important, and those are skills, attitudes you learn getting on the seventh circuit. The full Canadian back line have all had seven-a-side experience with Canada, and I think hopefully we'll see more of that show up in the second half.
A berth in the Churchill Cup final is on the line. The New Zealand Maori await the winner of this game next weekend at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, and we're underway. Kevin Quinn working alongside Spencer Robinson. You heard from Gene Principe and Garth Reese as well. Everyone excited to be here. We're seeing some great rugby, and the folks here at Calgary Rugby Park have been treated to some great action. Let's take a look at the statistics for that first half.
Well, you see with the statistics there, that things are fairly even. Penalties conceded, rucks, mauls, the territory in particular, territory and advantage, fairly even. The thing with the English, though, is that they've been able to put their possession, their territory, into more points than the Canadians.
Now, we talk about the 10s and their run, pass, kick options. Why is that important?
Well, it gives you an indication of the style of play that the team is making, whether they're 9 and 10 traditionally touch the ball the most in the game, and if they decide to kick, run, or pass.
England with a chance here early in the second half. Deep into Canadian territory.
This is where the Canadians kind of faltered in the first half when they get into this phase play, but they've slowed the ball down enough so they can structure their defense.
Tough to tell exactly who has got the ball for England. Not many of these players have numbers left on their sweaters. Stripped off in the first half. It looks like the no-name team out there.
I think David Moonlight on the right wing for Canada there was able to get a turnover ball. But the important thing there was that Canada at the breakdown previously on the right-hand side of the field was able to slow the English possession down enough so that they could structure their defense again and give them a shot.
Canadians have had some bend don't break moments as we go downstairs and join Garth Reese. Gareth.
Well, we saw Mike Danskin kick for touch there. The wind has actually shifted. It's going to be at the Canadians' back, which is a huge benefit, especially for those forwards who have been working so hard. So Danskin and scrum half Morgan Williams will have a chance to get some field territory kicking straight down the field. Back up to you guys.
Thanks very much, Gareth. When the game started, Spencer, the wind was blowing across the field. Great chance for Canada now with the wind at their back.
Oh, yeah, they'll have to use that. And Mike, as he showed in the first half, he's got a wonderful boot, some great spiral kicks.
English, though, with possession and starting to string some passes together. Mark Cueto
Good tackle there by Stirling Richmond, our right wing.
Cairns out there on the wing, the big guy.
Got him all. In the ruck now.
See Christoph Strubin there on the side of the ruck for Canada, another one of our sevens players. Great player, plays low to the ground, gets his hands on the ball quite a bit.
Territorial advantage early on here in the second half going to England. Just inside the 25-meter line. Canada trying to meet him right at the line. Vivian mishandled that pass.
+4 here.
Opportunity for Canadians there to use some of that turnover ball. Starting to get my concerns in again about the Canadian defense when it comes to phase play. They're lined up flat, but when the English do move that ball out wide, that defensive line isn't coming up as a group, so that's a concern.
Again, the Canadians remain under pressure, and another English player down. Just kind of saw his knee give away on him. It looked like. We won't speculate on what's wrong, but this is something that's happening to the English side all game. They've been kind of roughed up.
Yeah, that looks like Alex King. Watch him here as he goes down. He's moving to one side, yeah, and he just kind of falls over there. A cramp or an Achilles injury, possibly.
Medical staff out there.
Now, that would be a huge loss to the English. You got to remember, these guys have played, as we mentioned off the top, some top-class games. Here's King going behind the scrum, and he just kind of pulls up as if he's pulled his calf, maybe. So, a lot of rugby, a lot of miles put in on the bodies of the English players. They've got a long, competitive season, and sometimes it's just one game too far.
Well, a couple of players didn't make the trip. Robbie Morris and Andy Beattie were expected to be on this team, both out with injuries. Morris a hamstring, and Beattie went down with a groin injury. And Will Johnson and Mickey Ward were chosen to replace them.
Even the full England side, as we have a look at the coaches here for the English team at the Churchill Cup, even the full English side that went down to New Zealand and are down there now suffered the same kind of setbacks with a lot of late injury replacements.
May see Dave Walder get into the game as we go downstairs and once again hook up with Gareth Reese. Gareth.
Well, Alex King trying to shake off a knee injury there. He's had a lot of problems over his career. He was the great white hope for English rugby. Came through and was obviously playing well for his club, but has never really made it with England. And that's one of the reasons he's been carrying knee and ankle injuries. And you see, he's just gone down there behind the scrum. So things don't look very good for the English number 10. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much. You can see the left knee of Alex King has given out on him twice, and I think that's going to be enough.
Yeah, I think he needs to call it a day, really. Experience also coming onto the field, and it should be Dave Walder in the number 21 jersey. He's got 4 caps to his name already, a player from the Newcastle Falcons.
In 2001, he had 29 points against the Canadian side. So Walder is in, and Alex King, who had 2 converts, is out with a knee injury. We'll see how he's affected. He has some time to rest the game next Saturday, either the championship game or the third place game for this English side.
He didn't really want to leave the field. He tried to give it another go, and it just wasn't to happen. England put Canada under a lot of pressure that last scrum, and they've got the turnover.
There's a run of the ball coming loose. Fyffe gets to it first. And a little pushing and shoving after the whistle.
Well, it's good to see some spirit coming out of the Canadian boys here. They're not going to take a backward step to these guys just because they happen to come from a country who invented the game.
So once again, Spencer, we have seen this English team put pressure on Canada, and Canada has been able to dodge those bullets, and it'll be great to see them be able to turn it into something right here, use that momentum.
Well, that's exactly right, Kevin. Now we've got to get down the field, put the pressure on them, make them feel that pressure, and hopefully convert it into some points.
Stirling Richmond with a kick.
Stay in here, White.
And over, and it's picked off there by Garth Cooke.
Garth Cooke, the native of Merritt, BC. He'll be heading down to the Merritt Mountain Music Festival, I'm sure, in a few weeks' time.
Josh Jackson. Swung out by Morgan Williams. Quickly to Danskin.
Just side.
That's a good half gap taken by Mike Danskin there. And we've got the advantage. See the referee with his hand out.
Leave it now, White.
Canada can take some chances here. They won't be penalized. And up the middle, look at Kevin Tkachuk. Nice little drop off, and Morgan Williams had some trouble with that ball, or they had something going there.
Oh, that's unfortunate for the Canadians that pass from the captain couldn't stick to Morgan Williams. It was a great break. First started by Christoph Strubin to his captain. Oh, there's Christoph, and he moves the ball on to Morgan. A little bit behind him. It would have been nice to see Morgan do some damage on the English there.
And for the first time, we see a member of Canada down on the field.
And that's their captain there, Kevin Tkachuk. He's at Oxford in the pre-temp Bs, so he's no stranger to these English sides. And that's the important thing. I mean, we've harped on it a little bit about these sevens guys, but not only that their skills that they bring from the seven-a-side circuit, but the fact that they've played against England, New Zealand, Fiji, Australia, France regularly over the circuit over the last year. They're not overawed when they say, yes, we're going to play England today. They say, oh, I've seen that guy in Dubai. He's human just like I, and take it on. And Kevin's the same way. Played at Oxford with his club, the pre-temp Bs, has knocked off some scalps in the English Premier League as well.
Try against Wales in the World Cup, and has a 2-year deal to play some pro in Glasgow.
In Scotland, yeah. So that should be good for Kevin and good for Canadian rugby.
Well, he stays in the game. Hugh Vivian, the captain for England.
It's a good tackle off the side of the scrum from our number 8, Josh Jackson.
Canada with some territorial advantage, just need to get the ball back, and they will right here. Quentin Fyffe.
Unpredictable, never know what Q's going to do. He goes for the high ball this time.
Okay, you're on.
Fyffe trying to get the tackle. Oh, mishandled there by Ryan Smith. He was under pressure, and that's a tough ball to get.
Tough one to pick up the bouncing rugby ball. You never know which way it's going to go. England, interestingly, I think the last few possessions they've had, they're now trying to short kicks over the top of the Canadian defensive line. It's probably something they talked about at halftime, saying the Canadians are flat. There's some space in behind those first few defenders. Let's exploit that a little bit more.
Canada trying to gain some momentum from turning away an English foray early in that half.
Snappy play by Morgan Williams to see when the ball was out of the English scrum there and pick it up.
Penalty. And listen to my call, guys. I said hands off. Okay, rucks forward.
The veteran there, you see him with the NS on the back there. That's his shout out to his homies in Nova Scotia.
There it is. Morgan had a try against England in the Churchill Cup last year. 34 caps to his credit.
Yeah, okay.
You have veteran of the side, Morgan Williams. His brother Jeff, actually quite an accomplished player as well. Played some sevens for Canada.
Trying to get into the Churchill Cup final. And to do it, you have to go through the defending champions. And the English with a 24-11 lead right here in the second half. Now starting to string something together.
The string is the right word because they're really spreading that ball on.
Tackle there by Stirling or Richmond.
That's forward.
And we'd like to see those types of tackles from the Canadian players right on the numbers.
Substitution for Canada as Forrest Gaynor will come into the game.
Forrest, a young prop, I believe he's at Western University. Lots of experience. He replaces Garth Cooke on the tight head side of the scrum.
Alberta boy from Edmonton.
I want it square, guys. Okay, square it up.
He'd love to go for a Churchill Cup championship in his hometown next weekend.
Well, it's just a great experience for these guys to even be playing, you know, at home, a sport like this.
Girolamo. Sean O'Leary.
Holding on. Leave it, guys. Let the ball go. Let the ball go.
Canadian player isolated there. Support just not there quick enough. Holding on to the ball too long, and the referee has no choice but to penalize him, Colin Yukes.
Well, the English will try and take advantage.
Touches, guys.
Dave Walder taking over the kicking duties of the injured Alex King, and there's his first kick of the contest.
Good start from Walder. The English really putting so much pressure on the Canadians when they do have the ball. Coming forward all the time in defense. So when a player is isolated, as Yukes was there, the ref has no choice but to penalize him.
Line out. Contested well by the Canadians, but the English come up with possession.
Yeah, interesting that Canada chose to contest it with inside their 22. And Josh Jackson certainly gave it a good go there, and that slowed down the English possession, allows Canada to organize their defense.
Under pressure now again. Inside the 22. Canada's been in this position before early in the half, and they turned the English aside that time. They'll try and do it again. Here's Walder to Vivian, the captain, in for the try. Hugh Vivian, captain of England, gets the first try of the second half.
Yeah, they just kept coming, the English, and Canada just ran out of resources. Two great tackles by Ryan Smith, but when they moved the ball to the right-hand side again, that step there on Colin Yukes created this opportunity for Vivian to get over the captain. 5 points for England.
You know, Dave Walder comes into the game and certainly makes an impact.
Yeah, fresh legs, quick legs. He's certainly made an impact to the English.
Here's a look at the captain, Hugh Vivian. Plays for Saracens. 7 rugby-playing brothers in the Vivian household. Actually entered a sevens tournament as a team. And there's Walder again with the impact as he converts the try by the captain.
Kind of like our own Sutter family here
absolutely.
In Canada.
There's Rick Suggett, the coach of Canada, and he's seen his team in the first chance on home soil since the World Cup.
See Stan McKeen in the middle of the screen there. He looks like he's getting ready to come on. He replaces Josh Jackson, so he'll be going into the number 8 role.
When you're ready.
McKeen, 2 caps in the game, and the Canadians down 31-11.
That's the first one that Stirling's pushed outside, and he'll want to correct that. I guess that's what the wind changed, judging it in the second half. But it gives England the opportunity with a split field scrum. They've got options on both sides, and they've got a wide open blind side on the right.
No, wait, guys.
Can't play without a ball.
Okay, crouch and hold. Engage. Yeah, sorry, come up. Sorry.
Can't jump. Stay.
Crouch and hold. No.
Guys kind of jumping the gun. We saw this the first half.
Yeah, that's right. They're eager.
Engage.
The referee's been fantastic. Just very understanding of the players' eagerness and wanting to get on with the game.
Now the English, as you mentioned, with that scrum at center, options on both sides. They come to the near side.
That's great defense by Mike Danskin, the Canadian number 10, to cover his man, knock the straight arm down, and then make the tackle.
Vivian piling in.
On the side.
Came in from the side, though.
It was clear. He came in from the side, and the referee had no choice.
Here's Danskin. He gets spun around.
Good work by Christoph Strubin to keep the ball in play as we move the ball to the right.
Abrams gets it to Williams. Williams. Here's a great chance for McKeen into the game, trying to make an impact.
Well, that's what you want from your impact players. Stan does make an impact, particularly on defense.
Ryan Smith going in for the try.
He's delighted. The boy from the Brampton Beavers, Ryan Smith. What a great fend on the English defender, and he goes over for Canada.
McKeen with a good run. Ryan Smith finishing it off.
Lovely ball by Danskin out to McKeen, and he just shrugs off Henry Paul with the stiff arm, and he's over for 5 points.
Well, the English captain scores, and Canada responds, and it's Ryan Smith who gets the try. Smith, 9 caps to his credit, and a big try here at the 54th minute.
Yeah, Ryan really was a bit of a success story at the World Cup for Canada. A solid player, consistent, wasn't conspicuous by his absence in any kind of defensive roles. Solid, so it's nice to see him actually get on the board and also have a positive influence on offense as well. sure all the guys now at the Brampton club will be cheering wildly for one of their own.
And Danskin can't convert it, and don't see that very often when a guy named Ryan Smith gets cheered in Calgary.
That's right. It's a great ball here with a great bend on Henry Paul. And he's over for 5 points. Good direct approach.
31-16 is the score now. So Stirling Richmond and Ryan Smith have tries for Canada. The last time these teams met at the Churchill Cup, Canada came up with 7 points. Here they've got 16.
Well, that's good. Looks like that low, a lot of red jerseys in that picture. The guy, that's good kick chase by us.
Walder.
Moonlight slips away.
He's got some space. Still going. David Moonlight. Got support from Quentin Fyffe. Here's Quentin Fyffe. Moving in. Try for Canada.
What?
David Moonlight.
What?
And Quentin Fyffe combined.
What a score. Fantastic try for Canada. Moonlight finds daylight in the English defense, and he's got the patience and the skill. Watch how he beats the English defender, beats another man, goes out to the right, shows the ball, and this pass here with his right hand threads the needle, gets it inside to Quentin Fyffe, who's able to finish it off for Canada. That is a fantastic score by the Canadian side.
2 quick tries by Canada has them right back in this game. And it's got the crowd here at Calgary Rugby Park all jacked up.
Well, that's great. I mean, it all started with Stan McKeen came into the game, had that bullocking run up the middle of the field, created that opportunity, and now Quentin Fyffe, working off of Dave Moonlight, is able to add 5 more points to the Canadian cause.
Mike Danskin will try and get the convert. Every point so critical. But what a great couple of minutes for Canada.
I think we're starting to see the fruits of the labor, as you mentioned earlier in the game, that first 20 minutes when there are so many English players lying on the ground, feeling the Canadian hits. Now when we put impact players in, we're starting to see that we can get some points on the board.
Danskin successful with the convert as we go downstairs and join Gene Principe.
Well, guys, Quentin Fyffe calls Calgary home. He came here in 1996, decided to stay, coaches one of the local clubs. He's the most senior member of the squad at 32, and he was a late addition because of injury, but he was tops when it came to fitness testing for Canada, and Fyffe understands he has to work harder than the rest to maintain a spot, and I'm sure that try helped him do that.
Absolutely, Gene, as the score now 31-23, and Canada trying to hold off the English and get another scoring opportunity, and another injured player down for England. And stepping into touch there.
What a kick by Mike Danskin, the Canadian number 10. First time we've seen that. He took the ball on the right-hand side of the ruck that was created off the kickoff and brought it back to the left-hand side of the field. Something new. The height was beautiful, and the English player took it over into the ends, or out of bounds, pardon me. Great kick. Great kick. The English had no choice.
Gareth Rees talked about the wind shifting and moving to the Canadians' back, and they try and take advantage of it. And we see more injured English players.
Again, that's that. Maybe the boys have been on the Alberta beef this trip, because they're certainly putting out the hits this afternoon, and this is the result.
Well, this is one of the things that had been a trademark of Canadian rugby, that physical play that wears down the opponent, and we have seen it here.
Yeah, it's been a hallmark of Canadian rugby, as you mentioned, Kevin. What hasn't been, unfortunately, recently is the scoring that has to come with that. So we've always been touted as fantastic tacklers, but then we still let the opposition score 60 points on us. Now we're actually being aggressive in our tackling, and we can put points on the board as well, and that's a great combination.
Still trying to get, I believe that's Sanderson, who's the injured English player.
Scott.
I think he'll have to retire as well. You know, he doesn't want to go off. He knows how much it means to his country, but it's probably not doing his team any favors.
Will Johnson, number 19, into the game. His brother Martin, the captain of the World Cup team for England. A solid rugby playing family there, along with the Vivian clan. So we'll see if Canada can keep the momentum going.
That's a great take by the new man. That's Mike Burak, who's just come in for the Canadian side. It's great for him to get a first touch on the ball.
Burak, number 19 for Canada.
Advantage again.
Canada continuing to run the ball at the English.
Ryan Smith doing the honors there. Has a try for Canada.
Much Morgan taking the quick tap penalty. He wants to keep this game going.
Girolamo swings it out
there
wide.
Goes Richmond again.
Richmond with a chance down the sideline. Brought down. McKeen.
Release.
Canada with the pressure on. Abrams driving forward. Swung out wide. Danskin.
That's great rugby by the Canadians, keeping this ball in the middle of the field as well. It's a good option inside the 22.
Morgan Fyffe. He was hit just as he released the ball, and the English on the counter-attack now. And a break now for England. A foot race. It's Walder. Throws it back blind, and Canada regains possession.
Good covered defense there by Stirling Richmond.
Advantage.
Kick block.
Offside.
Some tired legs out there. We'll see what Mike Danskin does with this ball.
Oh, we almost went end to end there. As Danskin will send it into touch.
Yeah, referee working off another infringement by the English, giving Canada some advantage play.
Touchdown. Yeah.
Canada coming to life here. Down 31-23. Remember, last year they lost 43-7. But they have come up with 2 straight tries here in the second half. Quentin Fyffe, Ryan Smith. And have England reeling just a little bit.
Huge increase in the performance of the Canadian side when you look back to just a year ago against this English team. To put that many points on the board, the attitude of the players is precise there. The skills are there.
Ryan Smith. Now, trying to shut down the English attack. Here's Hugh Vivian trying to rally his club. Quentin Fyffe will try and chase that ball down. Picks it up.
Stay here, Red.
That's another intelligent, quick kick from Quentin. He's inside his 22, but he just wanted to put it within a few meters of the sideline there. So even if the English player did catch it, he didn't really have much of an option with the ball.
David Walder had settled under it, but then let it go.
Hold it, we've got a sub.
Sub in for Canada, Derek Daypuck.
Don't throw it.
Will make an appearance.
That'll necessitate some positional changes for the Canadians. We see Stirling Richmond. He'll move to outside center along his buddy from the 7-a-side team, Marco.
Roll up, tackler. Play on, it's gone back.
Walder. England swinging out wide on the far side. Ball squirts loose. They'll come near side now. Intensity of this one is picked up.
So much at stake. That's some first up tackles that were missed by the Canadians. Oh, that's not a good.
Inside 22 meters now, England.
Release it. Yeah.
Slowing that ball down is so important so we can get our defense restructured.
Right up the middle.
Roll out, Red.
Maybe could have caused a turnover there, which would be great at this stage.
Walder picks it up. England, the try.
Got it here.
Pressure was relentless, and it pays off with 5 points.
Relentless pressure, as you mentioned, Kevin, from the English. And also, again, we saw in the first half when Henry Paul was able to pass out of the tackle, the English able to do the same thing. Passing out of the tackle for a man running at speed and on a direct angle. Difficult to stop. They're passing out of the tackle again and over for the try.
Andy Hazel is the player that got over and got the try for England.
Great attempt by Christoph Strubin there.
Hazel actually played for Maori last summer. has got his team 36 points, and Boulder will try and add 2 more.
I think both teams now start to try to bolster their teams up with some substitutions.
And it's good. As you mentioned, Spencer, some substitutions getting set for England. Mickey Ward and Richard Burkett getting set to come on the pitch, and they will with the score 38-23 for England. Burkett, a member of the London Wasps. Mickey Ward plays for Newcastle Falcons. Burkett lists Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan as his sporting heroes.
Hey.
Not bad company. So the pressure on Canada now to respond.
Hands up!
McKeen on the tackle trying to stop the English. Daypuck. Leave it there, and an important lineout coming out right now.
Aaron Abrams, a Canadian hooker, he's had a strong game in the lineout. We haven't had one lineout called not straight. He's been hitting all of his jumpers. So that's good coordination between the Canadian thrower and jumpers and the boosters.
Colin Yukes comes down with the ball. Williams, Girolamo.
Marco's so good at taking that flat ball in the middle of the field.
Now Williams.
Well, we needed someone to run off of Morgan Williams there as he tried to do a little bit of probing next to the ruck.
Danskin.
Roll out, taker!
Canada trying to get organized. Girolamo again. Nice little pass there. Stirling Richmond. And he got drilled.
Late charge picked up by the referee there. It's a good thing it was a late charge because that was put too much on it, that kick from Stirling. But a good break and good timing and a connection between Marco and Stirling once again.
Stirling Richmond just trying to shake off the cobwebs. And another Canadian player in behind the play shaking up.
Yeah, good hit on Stirling here. Here's the connection again. Marco's taking the first receiver role, putting Stirling through the gap. He's a big man with pace. As he puts his kick through, watch the English defender there. Just put the shoulder into him. No attempt to wrap. The referee picks it up late, and penalty for Canada. Moves them down into the right-hand corner of the field.
Stirling Richmond, one of the tries for Canada on this afternoon. 38-23 the score. As Gaynor was shaken up, came in relief in the second half. Forrest Gaynor up, and he'll get back into the play.
Woodward's hobbling a little bit, but he won't want to go off.
Yeah, pass on it.
Stirling won't forget this game. It's his first cap for Canada. Played a lot of sevens, but 15 aside, his first cap, and he's been on the board with a try. And now he's had some impact on the game in all facets of the game. Kickoffs have been outstanding.
Okay. Hold that gap there,
All right, what do we look for here?
Well, there's a little huddle there from the Canadians, so I think there's something tricky up.
England came up with the ball as they did a good job contesting that
Let it go, Fred, let it go! Almost. Stay there.
Walter.
Stay here, White. Stay White. Stay White. Okay, you're right.
Oh, he shanked that kick.
Quentin Fyffe. Canada again on the attack. Richmond moving in. Down hard again.
Good stepping by Stirling and a good fend as well.
Danskin. Canada inside the 22-meter line.
Recovered, that's fine.
Williams. Surging forward. Fans here in Calgary loving this.
There is almost.
There's Gaynor shaken up.
Let it go.
Not stirred though.
That's it. sledding for Canada. Ball squirts loose, and England on the turnover. And Vivian with the kick. Well, Canada trying to put something together, but the ball squirted loose, and Hugh Vivian got it out of danger.
Well, that's just it, Kevin. You're right. They're put together or string together, and that's what they're trying to do. String these phases together. Unfortunately, probably they haven't had been under the pressure of these situations where they've had to string 5, 6, 7 onto 10 phases together before they can see a result. And when we get to 8th phase, unfortunately, sometimes turn the ball over or make a mistake.
Another important line out for Aaron Abrams.
Stay 10.
They look for Colin Yukes. Over top of his head. Too bad, and that's not easy to do. Yukes 6'7".
I think I probably cursed Abrams there by even mentioning how impressed I was with his throwing. And his last 2 throws have been off the money.
Pressure time now for Canada. 38-23 the score. On the line is a berth in the Churchill Cup final, and you can see the line-out stats. Well, Abrams going to get another chance.
White, come on, please, half a metre.
And again, the referee having to have words with the English.
Argentina!
This time, Colin Yukes comes down with it clean. Williams, Girolamo, driving forward.
Great power by Marco there to spin out of that tackle.
See what Tkachuk can do.
Should be coming back to the left side here.
Stirling Richmond. What a great game he's had.
Leave it White! Leave it White!
Williams.
Almost here.
Trying to get the ball.
Very slow this possession for the Canadians, unfortunately. So the English have set up their defense.
Quentin Fyffe is hauled down.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Service from the captain there, Kevin Tkachuk, standing in scrum half there for Morgan Williams.
Just the ball, just the ball.
Brought down.
High most.
Gainer. Again, limping just a little bit. Abrams.
Now Canada needs to get some go forward across this advantage line.
Here's Fyffe. Tackled and lost the ball. Fyffe brought down hard, and the ball squirted loose. Canada had something going there for the last 5 minutes, but now England with the ball at the 40-meter line. Hugh Vivian, and that ball thrown out of bounds, so the English making mistakes.
Definitely, but outside of that ball being thrown out of bounds, the English still looking fairly sharp in their skills when they're running onto the ball. They're always going over the advantage line, always crossing it. Canada, on the other hand, a little bit not quite sure of what they're doing and a little bit deep on some of their possession.
Right. Came up a red hand.
2 things you can bring that down to: experience and maybe a new team, obviously, getting to work out those combinations. We heard Morgan Williams at halftime there talking about how disjointed some of the things were, and that'll go away as these guys play more and more together.
Yeah.
A few more Canadians hitting the deck in this second half, and Mike Langley just getting up now.
You see Ed Fairhurst, I think, has replaced Derek Daypuck. Ed's going to go into the fly half role for the Canadian side.
Fairhurst wearing number 21. Langley's going to stay in the game.
And the English have made a replacement at their scrum half as well. Number 20 coming in for number 9.
Hold. Okay.
Peter Richards. Remember the London Wasps.
Peter just came over to Canada from the 7-a-side tournament in London, the last leg of the RB 7 circuit.
Won that 7th.
Advantage, lost forward here.
Picked up there by Morgan Williams. Williams loses his footing.
Getting very physical in there now, the contest.
Swung out wide. Girolamo, he has got some wheels. We saw it in the first half.
Thank you.
Quentin Fyffe. English. Great run here.
Some missed tackles there by the Canadians. We never want to see a man run that long with the ball.
Inside the 22-meter line. Again, the English putting on some pressure. 38-23 the score.
And England have moved their right winger right to the sideline on the right-hand side of the field. We'll see if they go for this kick that they've been trying to institute over the last few years.
Leave it.
Walder.
You got him.
They're trying to set up a solid wall and shut them down.
Down forward.
See the man with his hands on the ball there. Christoph Strubin, that's his job. Tackle situation, get your hands on the ball. Either force the referee to penalize the opposition or cause the turnover.
Yeah, white scrum.
This time the referee says, nope, scrum ball for the English. Christoph has been one of the stars of the 7th Circuit with the Canadian side this year. Plays for a club in North Vancouver, the Capelanos, this year's BC champions. Fitness fanatic, Christoph, with a wrestling background. Fantastic guy.
5'10", 200 pounds, so he's solid. And we saw the English team getting a little bit pounded in the first half, and now the game taking its toll a little bit on Canada. And one of the stars of the game, Fyffe, has a try in this game, being intended to, and he is a key member of this Canadian team, and hope he's okay.
Yeah, Quentin's really been the X factor for the Canadian side today, because you're never sure what he's going to do. And usually whatever option he does choose, it comes off because he's so skilled.
Good to see he's up and staying in the game. Team under pressure now. Swung outside. And drop ball.
Yeah, what a good pass, though, from the scrum half there, Peter Richards, as he breaks from the scrum. What's the length on this? It gives his winger a chance to do something there. That's just fantastic. Unfortunately, what he does is he drops the ball.
Daypuck had to hit all lined up. The trouble's not over yet for Canada.
90. Wide scrum.
England get to put into the next scrum just from their pressure they put on the Canadians there, and were able to turn them 90 degrees, and they earned the put in 5 meters from the Canadian line.
Hang on, sub guys.
Riordan will make an appearance for Canada.
Okay, cracks and hold.
Pat's replaced Mike Langley on the side of the scrum in the flank position. Pat's normally a hooker in the Canadian team.
See the pack driving forward for England.
Get off him, Harvey. Advantage.
Offside there, called against Canadian scrum half Morgan Williams. Referee, the touch judge has got his flag out, so he's seen some foul play. We'll have a listen.
You're going to make a decision, but what happened was the white half, front half, stood up, went around with an elbow.
To get the other guy off,
to get him off.
Yeah. To shrug him off, yeah.
So
it was just to shrug him off.
Okay, so you're going to run with the same penalty?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's back out here, scrum 5.
Okay,
penalised, penalised 4.
Okay, so you're carrying on.
Round, yeah. Let's go. Okay, no worries, guys. It's a penalty here. And you've caught a scrum. Yeah.
There you go. Good conversation between the touch judge and the referee there, trying to decide, should we penalize the white scrum half for swinging his elbow into Morgan Williams' face, or just stay with the original penalty, which is against Morgan Williams for being offside. The referee says, hey, it's rugby. Play on. No harm, no foul. England has chosen the scrum as their penalty option, and I think they're going to try and drive this one over.
Richards set to put it in.
Stay on.
We'll see, as Spencer mentioned, England trying to just drive this one forward. Walder. Out wide, Canada trying to shut it down. Tough sledding, try for England.
Well, we're prolonging the almost the inevitable there. You got the feeling of that slipped out of the back of the English scrum. They were going for the pushover scrum, but once that option didn't come, they tried to move it out wide. Some great pass in the back line here, and I think Dave Moonlight there really should have just taken his man down low, made sure the tackle, unfortunately, went up high to tie up the ball as well, and the English player was able to spin out of the tackle and get over for it.
Dan Scarborough muscles his way in, and the last time these teams met, England had 43 points. They've got 43 points right now. And looking to add more will be Dave Walder.
Tough angle for Dave Walder, the kick. We'll see if he comes from the same Johnny Wilkinson kicking school here. So he kind of cups his hands in the front of his body there.
Need that sea breeze.
Well, it's not there.
Unfortunate for him. He has a little joke with the referee as he runs back. Stiff breeze, he says.
43-23 is the score.
We see another replacement. Forrest Gaynor is coming out of the game, and he's going to be replaced by number 16, Dan Pletch.
Pletch with 2 caps to his credit.
2 caps and a twin brother, actually. They both prop, so I'm not sure if this is Dan or Mike Pletch here today.
No, he's down.
England
Roll out, tackle,
looking
roll
for
out.
a date next weekend with New Zealand Maori.
Right here, White. Okay, you're
And
right.
the loser of this contest will play the United States, also at Commonwealth Stadium for 3rd place.
Canada still choosing to move the ball. Great attitude because they have nothing to lose. Derek Daypuck takes that ball hard in the contact.
More English players down on the field being attended to behind the play. And here is Quentin Fyffe. He was shaken up earlier, back into action and running well.
Leave it wide.
English player coming in from the side and getting his hands on the ball, despite the referee asking him not to. Penalty here.
No problem with the clock. So we believe there's about 2 minutes of play plus injury time. We're in injury time now. We were told it's about 2 minutes.
On the 5.
43-23 the score. And we'll see if that holds true.
Plenty of time for the Canadians to finish off with on a positive note.
And Fairhurst with a kick to touch.
Yeah.
Now, Eddie's normally a scrum half. This is another innovation Rick Sight is trying to bring into the Canadian side. Eddie's got some great skills. We see the long passes in the English back line, how all their players are able to move that ball 20 meters, 30 meters. Eddie can bring that skill into the fly half role for Canada as well.
It's
Advantage.
the line out. Morgan Williams. And there's Ed Fairhurst.
There's 2 long passes from Eddie right off the bat.
Dan Scarborough with an aggressive tackle. And the English get possession again. How about the play of Peter Richards for England? He's been impressive in his play in the second half.
Yeah, he's been very sharp, hasn't he? It's not just that almost bleach blonde hair. That's why he's so conspicuous. His play is very sharp. He almost looks like he's going in another gear than the other players. He's been an impact, definitely, for the English side.
Another one of those guys making the transition, having those sevens experience, and maybe we'll see that as a trend of development. We've talked about this, Spencer, that the seven's a great way to develop your players for 15s and play the speed game.
Yeah, well, Canada's always used a 7-a-side game in the past just to expose their players to international competition. But they're finding also that the tackling and the decision-making has come up, so they're bringing that stuff back into the 15-a-side team.
England looking for more, and it's Dan Scarborough with his 2nd straight try.
Great try by the English there. Never say die. And it just was a numbers game. They sucked in the Canadian defenders. until it was straight on 5 against 4, and something have to give. And Dan Scarborough chose a great line to beat the Canadian defense.
It's his second straight try, and this one in injury time. Scarborough, a veteran of the Churchill Cup, was part of the winning team last year in their victory over the United States in the final. Beat the U.S. 43-6 to capture last year's Churchill Cup. They've got 48 points here against Canada. And a positive for Canada as we await Dave Walder's convert attempt. Canada 7 points last year against the English side, and this year 23. Rick Suggett can take something out of it.
Oh, that's a huge improvement of the team, and it just shows the attitude of the Canadian side to go forward basically and meet their opponents and put some points on the board as well.
Well, that will do it. 48-23 the final. So Canada will play the U.S. for third. England will try and defend their title against New Zealand Maori next weekend. Plenty more from Calgary Rugby Park after this.